I never thought I would kick my own brother out of my house. But when you inherit a three-bedroom home from your grandmother and your older brother loses his job, you want to help. Derek and his wife Carmen needed a place to stay for 3 months. I had one simple rule: keep the shared bathrooms clean. That was it, just basic hygiene. But what started as a generous offer turned into the most disgusting nightmare of my life, and now my entire family is demanding I apologize for protecting my own home. Before I dive into what happened in my own home, let me know in the comments where you are watching from. And if you have ever dealt with family who crossed the line, hit that like button and subscribe, because you will understand exactly why I had no choice but to do what I did next. I am 32 years old, single, and I work as an IT contractor in Portland, Oregon. The pay is decent, and I have been able to live comfortably on my own since my grandmother passed away 2 years ago. She left me her house in her will. It is a nice 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom place in the suburbs. Nothing fancy, but it is mine, and I have always kept it clean and organized. That is just how I am. I like order. I like things in their place. My brother Derek is 4 years older than me. He has always been the one who struggled a bit more financially. He works in construction, and the pay can be inconsistent depending on the season. His wife Carmen is 28, a stay-at-home mom with 2 young kids. One is 5, the other just turned 2. I have always gotten along fine with Derek, but Carmen and I were never particularly close. She always seemed a bit distant, a bit cold, but I figured that was just her personality. I never thought much of it. Then, about 2 months ago, Derek called me. His voice sounded strained, worried. He told me he had been laid off unexpectedly. The construction company he worked for had lost a major contract, and they had to let go of half their crew. Derek was one of them. He had no savings. Carmen did not work. They were renting an apartment month to month, and their lease was about to end. They had nowhere to go. I felt terrible for them. I really did. Derek is my brother, and despite our differences, I wanted to help. I told him they could stay with me for 3 months while he looked for a new job. 3 months seemed reasonable. It would give them time to get back on their feet without feeling rushed. Derek was incredibly grateful. He thanked me over and over, promising they would not be a burden. When they moved in, I gave them the master bedroom upstairs. It was the biggest room, and I figured the kids would need space. I set up the smaller bedroom next to theirs for the 2 little ones. I took the bedroom downstairs for myself. The house has 2 bathrooms, one upstairs near their rooms and one downstairs near mine. I told them they could use whichever bathroom they wanted, but I asked for one thing, just one rule. Keep the bathrooms clean. That was it. No mess, no filth. Just basic respect for shared spaces. The first week went smoothly. Derek was actively looking for work, sending out resumes, making calls. Carmen seemed polite enough. She even cooked dinner a few times, which I appreciated. The kids were pretty well behaved, considering their age. I started to feel good about my decision. I was helping my family. I was doing the right thing. But then, in the second week, something changed. One morning, I woke up early to get ready for work. I went into the downstairs bathroom, the one I primarily used. As soon as I stepped inside, I noticed the smell. It was faint, but it was there. A sour, metallic odor that made my stomach turn slightly. I looked around and spotted the trash can next to the toilet. Inside, sitting right on top, was a used sanitary pad. It was not wrapped. It was not covered. It was just lying there, exposed to the blood, dried and dark against the white plastic of the pad. I felt a jolt of disgust. I am not squeamish, but this was different. This was unsanitary. This was someone else's biohazard sitting in my bathroom. I took a breath and told myself it was probably just a mistake. Maybe Carmen had been in a hurry. Maybe she forgot to wrap it up. These things happen. I did not want to make a big deal out of it, so I sent Derek a polite text. "Hey bro, can you remind Carmen to wrap things up properly in the bathroom?" "Thanks." He responded almost immediately. "Oh man, sorry about that. I will tell her." I figured that was the end of it. but it was not. 3 days later, I came home from work and went to use the bathroom again. This time it was worse. Not only was there another unwrapped sanitary pad in the trash, but there were also makeup remover pads stained with blood, a used diaper from one of the kids that had not been tied up in a bag, and the smell was stronger. Much stronger. It clung to the air thick and nauseating. I stood there staring at the trash can, feeling a knot of irritation tighten in my chest. This was not a one-time mistake. This was a pattern. I decided I needed to talk to Carmen directly. I found her in the kitchen, scrolling through her phone while the kids played in the living room. I kept my tone calm, friendly even. "Hey, Carmen, I noticed the bathroom trash has not been taken care of properly. Could you make sure to wrap things up before throwing them away? It is getting pretty unpleasant in there." She barely looked up from her phone. "Oh, sorry, I have been so busy with the kids." Her tone was flat dismissive. There was no genuine apology in her voice. No acknowledgement that what she was doing was wrong. She just shrugged it off like it was no big deal. I left the conversation feeling uneasy. Something about her attitude bothered me, but I told myself to give her the benefit of the doubt. She was stressed. She had 2 young kids. Maybe she was just overwhelmed. But deep down, I knew better. By the 3rd and 4th week, the situation spiraled completely out of control. It was not just the downstairs bathroom anymore. I started noticing the same issues upstairs. I went up there one afternoon to grab something from the linen closet, and the smell hit me before I even reached the bathroom door. I pushed it open and immediately regretted it. The trash can was overflowing. Used sanitary pads, some wrapped, most not. Dirty diapers open and reeking. Blood-stained tissues crumpled and tossed carelessly. The toilet had not been flushed after the last use, and there was a ring of grime around the bowl. The sink was splattered with toothpaste and what looked like dried soap scum. The smell was so thick I could taste it in the back of my throat. I felt my hands clench into fists. This was not carelessness. This was deliberate neglect. This was disrespect. I marched downstairs and found Derek sitting on the couch watching television. I did not sit down. I stood in front of him, arms crossed. "Derek, we need to talk. Now." He looked up, confused. "What is wrong?" "The bathrooms." I said, my voice tight with controlled anger. "Both of them. They are disgusting. I have asked Carmen twice now to keep them clean, and it has only gotten worse. This is a biohazard, Derek. This is not okay." Derek sighed and rubbed his face. "I know, man. I have talked to her. She says she is just tired and forgets." "Forgets," I repeated, incredulous. "Derek, you do not forget to wrap up sanitary products. You do not forget to flush a toilet. This is basic hygiene. I am not asking for perfection. I am asking for basic respect." He nodded slowly, looking uncomfortable. "You are right. I will talk to her again. I promise." But his promise meant nothing, because just 2 days later, I came home late from a client meeting. I was exhausted. All I wanted to do was use the bathroom, brush my teeth, and go to bed. I flipped on the light in the downstairs bathroom and stopped dead in my tracks. The trash can was a nightmare. A used sanitary pad, heavy with blood, had been stuck directly to the inside wall of the trash can. There was no trash bag lining it. The pad was just pressed against the plastic, the adhesive holding it in place. Next to the toilet on the tile floor was a wad of toilet paper stained with feces from one of the kids. It had been dropped there and left. The bathtub had dark streaks of dirty water, clumps of hair, and a smell so rancid I had to cover my nose with my shirt. I pulled out my phone and took pictures. I needed evidence. I needed proof that I was not exaggerating, that this was as bad as it looked. Then I went upstairs and checked the other bathroom. It was the same, maybe worse. The trash can was full to the brim with unbagged waste. The toilet seat had dried menstrual blood on the underside. The floor was sticky. I felt something inside me snap. This was not a mistake. This was not exhaustion. This was intentional. Carmen was doing this on purpose. Whether it was out of laziness, spite, or some twisted sense of entitlement, I did not know. But I knew one thing for certain. I was done. I went to the living room, where Derek and Carmen were sitting together on the couch. The kids were already asleep upstairs. I stood in front of them, phone in hand, and said, "We need to have a family meeting, right now." Derek looked alarmed. "What is going on?" I did not answer him. I just pulled up the photos on my phone and held it out so they could both see. "This," I said, my voice cold and steady, "is what I came home to tonight. This is the third time I have brought this up. This is a biohazard. It is unsanitary, it is disrespectful, and it needs to stop immediately." Carmen glanced at the photos, and then leaned back, crossing her arms defensively. "I am a mother of 2. I am exhausted. You do not understand how hard it is." "I understand you are tired," I said, keeping my voice level. "But this is basic hygiene. This is my home. I am not asking you to deep clean every day. I am asking you not to leave biohazards sitting in the trash and on the floor." Her face hardened. "You are making a big deal out of nothing. It is just trash." "Just trash," I repeated, my voice rising slightly. "Carmen, this is blood feces and bodily waste left out in the open. This is not nothing. This is a health hazard." She raised her voice to match mine. "You are being ridiculous. You are acting like I am committing a crime." Derek sat between us, silent, staring at the floor. He did not defend me. He did not defend her. He just sat there useless. I looked at both of them and said very clearly, "This is your last warning. If I see this again, you will need to find another place to stay." Carmen stood up abruptly. "Fine," she spat, and walked out of the room. Derek finally looked at me, his expression defeated. "I will handle it," he said weakly. But I knew he would not. 3 days. That was all it took. 3 days after my final warning, I came home from work, tired and drained, needing to use the bathroom urgently. I pushed open the door to the downstairs bathroom, and was immediately hit with a wall of stench so powerful it made my eyes water. The trash can was overflowing. Sanitary pads, tampons, dirty diapers all piled on top of each other without any wrapping or bags. Blood had seeped through and stained the bottom of the can. The toilet had not been flushed. Urine and feces sat in the bowl, the water a cloudy yellow-brown. The floor was wet with what I hoped was just water, but I could not be sure. Dark streaks ran across the tiles. The smell was unbearable, a thick, rotting odor that made my stomach heave. I stood there, trembling with rage, staring at the scene in front of me. This was not an accident. This was not forgetfulness. This was defiance. Carmen had heard my warning, and she had ignored it. She had looked me in the eye and decided that my rules, my home, my boundaries did not matter. I pulled out my phone and took more pictures. Then I went upstairs. The bathroom there was just as bad, worse even. The trash can had no liner, and the inside was coated with dried blood and waste. The sink had hair and toothpaste smeared across the counter. The smell made me gag. I did not hesitate. I walked straight to Derek and Carmen's bedroom door and knocked hard. Derek opened it, looking confused. "What is up?" I did not waste time with pleasantries. "Pack your things. You have until 9 a.m. tomorrow morning to leave." His face went pale. What happened?" "Go look at the bathrooms," I said flatly. "Both of them. That is why." Carmen appeared behind him, her expression immediately defensive. "You are kicking us out over some trash. You are unbelievable." I looked her dead in the eye. "This is not trash. This is a biohazard. I warned you 3 times. You did not care. You did not listen. Now you leave." "We have nowhere to go," Carmen shouted. "You are going to put your nieces on the street." "That is not my problem," I said coldly. "You should have thought about that before you disrespected my home." Derek stepped forward, his voice pleading. Come on, man. Give us another chance. I will make sure it does not happen again. I shook my head. I gave you 3 chances, Derek. I am done. You have until 9 a.m. Be out by then. I turned and walked back to my room, locking the door behind me. I heard Carmen yelling, heard Derek trying to calm her down, but I did not care. I was done caring. That night, I did not sleep. I could hear them moving around upstairs, packing their things, whispering in urgent tones. I felt a pang of guilt, but I pushed it down. I had done nothing wrong. I had set a boundary, they had crossed it repeatedly, and now they were facing the consequences. At 8:45 the next morning, there was a knock on my door. I opened it to find Derek standing there, looking exhausted and defeated. "We are ready to go," he said quietly. "We are going to stay with Mom and Dad for a while." I nodded. "I am sorry it came to this." He looked at me for a long moment, then said, "I am sorry too." Carmen stood at the top of the stairs, with the kids glaring at me with pure hatred in her eyes. She did not say a word. She just turned and walked out. Derek followed her. I watched them load their car and drive away. When the door closed behind them, I stood in the empty hallway and felt a strange mix of relief and sadness. Relief that they were gone. Sadness that it had ended this way. But I did not regret my decision. Less than 2 hours after Derek and Carmen left, my phone started ringing. The first call was from my mother. I answered, already bracing myself. "How could you do this?" she said immediately, her voice sharp with anger. "How could you kick your brother out? They have 2 small children." I took a breath and tried to explain. "Mom, you do not understand what was happening. Carmen was leaving biohazards all over the bathrooms. I asked her to stop multiple times. She refused." "Biohazards," my mother repeated, disbelief dripping from her voice. "You are exaggerating. Carmen said you were being unreasonable over a little mess." "A little mess," I said, my frustration rising. "Mom, I have pictures. I can show you." "I do not need to see pictures," she snapped. "What I need is for you to apologize and let them back into your house. Family helps family." Before I could respond, she hung up. 10 minutes later, my father called. His tone was colder, more controlled. "Your mother is upset. You need to apologize to Derek and Carmen and make this right." "Dad, they were not respecting my home. I gave them multiple warnings." "I do not care about warnings," he said. "You do not kick family out. You figure it out. You make it work." He hung up too. Then my older sister called. Then my younger sister sent a flurry of angry text messages. All of them had the same message. I was selfish, cruel, and heartless. Carmen had apparently told everyone her version of the story, painting me as the villain who kicked them out over nothing. Derek, as usual, stayed silent. He did not defend me. He did not tell them the truth. I felt isolated, misunderstood, abandoned by the people who were supposed to have my back. But I refused to back down. I knew what I had experienced. I knew what I had endured. And I was not going to apologize for protecting my own space. That weekend, my father called again. This time, his tone was firm. "We are having a family meeting at our house tomorrow at 2 p.m. You need to be there." I agreed. I knew what this was. This was an intervention. This was my entire family ganging up on me to force me to apologize. But I was not going to show up empty-handed. I printed out every single photo I had taken of the bathrooms. Clear, undeniable evidence of what I had been dealing with. The next day, I arrived at my parents' house. Everyone was already there. My mother, my father, my older sister, my younger sister, Derek, and Carmen. The atmosphere was tense. Everyone looked at me like I was the enemy. My mother started immediately. "We are here because you owe your brother and Carmen an apology. What you did was unacceptable." I did not respond right away. Instead, I pulled out the stack of photos and placed them on the coffee table in front of everyone. "Before I say anything, I want everyone to see what I dealt with." One by one, I laid out the images. Sanitary pads, covered in blood, left unwrapped in trash cans. Dirty diapers open and reeking. Toilets left unflushed, with waste sitting inside. Floors stained and sticky. Sinks covered in grime. The photos were graphic, undeniable. The room went silent. My mother's face went pale. My father leaned forward, staring at the pictures. My older sister covered her mouth. My younger sister looked away, disgusted. I asked Carmen to stop this 3 times. I said, my voice steady. I warned her that if it continued, they would have to leave. She did not care. This is not about being selfish. This is about basic respect and hygiene. Carmen tried to interject. I was overwhelmed. I was tired. I have 2 kids. Being tired does not excuse leaving biohazards in someone else's home, I said firmly. This is unsanitary. This is disrespectful. I had every right to protect my space. My older sister, who had been silent up until now, spoke up. Carmen, this is really bad. I would not accept this in my house either. My younger sister nodded slowly, still looking at the photos with a grimace. My mother stared at the images, her expression a mixture of shock and disbelief. I did not know it was this bad, she said quietly. My father turned to Derek. Son, why did not you handle this? This is your wife. This is your responsibility. Derek, who had been sitting silently the entire time, finally spoke. His voice was low, ashamed. I tried to talk to her. She did not listen to me either. My mother looked at Carmen, her tone no longer defensive. This is unacceptable. You cannot treat someone's home like this. Carmen's face flushed with anger. So everyone is against me now, great. She stood up, grabbed her purse, and stormed out of the house. Derek hesitated for a moment, then followed her. The room was quiet after they left. My father looked at me and nodded. You were right. I am sorry we did not believe you. My mother reached over and squeezed my hand. I am sorry too. We should have listened. My sisters both apologized as well. The weight that had been sitting on my chest for weeks finally lifted. I had been vindicated, not because I wanted to be right, but because the truth had finally been heard. A few days later, Derek called me. I am sorry, he said. I should have stood up for you. I should have made Carmen stop. I am sorry I let it get that far. I accepted his apology. I did not need one from Carmen. I did not expect one. But I had gotten something more important, my family's understanding and respect. Over the following weeks, I cleaned my house from top to bottom. I hired a professional cleaning service to sanitize and deodorize both bathrooms. It took time, effort, and money, but it was worth it. My home felt like mine again. At first, I felt lonely. I felt the sting of being misunderstood by the people I loved. But gradually, that faded. I realized that I had done the right thing. I had set a boundary, I had enforced it, and I had protected my own well-being. My relationship with my parents and siblings slowly healed. Derek and I still talk, though our relationship is not as close as it once was. Carmen and I have not spoken since that day, and I am fine with that. I learned something important through all of this. Setting boundaries is not cruel. It is necessary. Kindness does not mean allowing people to walk all over you. It does not mean tolerating disrespect in the name of family. Real respect is earned, not demanded. And if someone cannot respect your home, they do not deserve to be in it. Looking back, I do not regret my decision. I offered help with clear boundaries, and those boundaries were crossed repeatedly. Sometimes the hardest part of being kind is knowing when to stop. Because real respect is not just given, it is earned. And if someone cannot respect your home, they do not deserve to be in it. That is not cruelty. That is self-preservation. So let me ask you this. Have you ever had to set a hard boundary with family? Have you ever been in a situation where being kind meant standing your ground? Drop your story in the comments below. I would love to hear how you handled it. And if this story resonated with you, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Sometimes we all need a reminder that protecting ourselves is not selfish. Thank you for listening, and I hope you find the strength to stand firm in your own boundaries, no matter who is testing them.